Establishment panic? Good evening, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching as always. There's been a few developments with Restore Britain this week and some comments that have been made by establishment pundits and puppets, and I wanted to get into it. The first thing I want to say is the Restore Britain movement is a anti-establishment movement. They are not interested in doing any backroom deals with Reform or with the Tories. This has been made abundantly clear on several occasions. We, are in it to win it, as it should be. If you're talking about deals 3 years out from a general election, that is negotiating and starting from a position of weakness. No party, no new political party, which is aiming to capture the right of centre vote in this United Kingdom, should be starting from a position of weakness, especially when you're looking to engage with those not likely to vote. This is important. If the media think that Restore Britain is going to play by their rules, they are mistaken. The legacy media are irrelevant. That is why people are switched off from politics, because they are sick of being deceived and lied to by establishment figures, legacy press and legacy media. Many people don't vote because they think, why bother? The Brexit vote was an outlier. It's not the standard. So the establishment is in full panic, and I'm going to get into a few clips from former Tory MP Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg. So I'm going to get into these now.
How you want cooperation between Reform and the Tories. Do you also want cooperation with this new Restore party, Rupert Lowe's party?
I think at the moment Restore is a very fringe party and has some people in it. There was a story in the Daily Mail today who have expressed some very undesirable views. So I think we've got to be careful about Restore. It hasn't got the breadth that Reform has, and we don't want to pick up every right-winger going.
Jacob Rees-Mogg has revealed his hand. He reads the legacy press, is concerned about appearances, and is very happy to say those with right-leaning views that are further right than his, is very happy to say, well, those are unpalatable, those are unsavoury views, we don't want you on board. Very much in line with what David Cameron said maybe 10, 15 years ago about UKIP voters, obviously the vehicle for Nigel Farage back then, calling them basically nutcakes and loonies. Very much the same thing. Not building a broad coalition or a broad tent. Now, when he says that the Reform movement has a broader breadth of knowledge and experience, obviously what he's referring to is former colleagues from Boris Johnson's government, Nadine Dorries, Robert Jenrick, Nadeem Sahari, Suella Braverman. These are the people that he puts stock in. These are the people that think give Reform UK legitimacy. He thinks that they give Reform UK legitimacy. This is, in my money, one of the biggest turn-offs for Reform UK, is they've become Tory Party 2.0. More of the same. It's unfortunate, because there's many good people still in Reform, grassroots, that I feel that they are being led up the garden path. I will never attack them. I will never go after them personally. Many people, myself included, do not like being told we've been fooled or we've been duped or that we are stupid. People have to come to these conclusions themselves. They will come round in the fullness of time, in my particular view. Many people currently voting Reform UK are doing so because they don't see Restore Britain as a valid option yet. So that's the first clip I wanted to play, and I'm going to get into the second clip This is Jacob Rees-Mogg when he's asked about the demographic question, demographic replacements.
Our demographic change going too far too quickly?
Oh, I'm not concerned about it at all. I'm not concerned about the racial makeup of the country. I am concerned about the borders issue and the number of people coming in.
So he's not concerned if Britons, native Britons, i.e. those who can trace their ancestry pre-1948, he's not interested if these people become a minority in their own homeland. Many people don't bother to vote because we have repeatedly voted for less and less and less immigration since 1997 at the very least, and all we've got is more. This is the principle that I will always say that we should focus on. Democracy. Not only were we not consenting to mass migration, we actually voted against it and we got it anyway. So that's his sentiment on the matter. He does not see it as an issue, and this is the talking point of the liberal elite, of which Jacob Rees-Mogg is very much a part. They don't see it as a problem because the diversity is not on their doorstep. He's a multimillionaire. He can shield himself and his next of kin and his descendants and his broader family from the negative impacts of mass migration. He's not bearing the consequences. And then we play a clip from Richard Tice because it mirrors very much what Richard Tice said. I've never been impressed by Richard Tice as a performer, as a politician. I really don't think he's that good at all. And Stephen Edginson actually is much more impressive. And I'm going to play this clip now.
Matt Goodwin recently published some research on demographics in Britain and projections, and he predicts that by 2063 Britain will be minority white British. Is that a concern of yours at all?
Yeah, I don't think that's I haven't seen those predictions, and 2063 is a long way off. But
It's a few decades.
yeah, it's a few decades. Well, it's I'm trying to do the maths quickly in my head, but it's in most people. I'll be long gone. Put it like that.
It's not going to be in his lifetime, so he doesn't care. Very much like Jacob Rees-Mogg, in a way. Why should I care about it? It's not impacting his bottom line. As far as he's aware, he's not going to be here. It's not a concern. So he's not concerned about the country that's being handed down to the next generation or the generation after. He doesn't sound like he's interested in dealing with the constitutional vandalism that's only been implemented on this United Kingdom. Supreme Court, Ofcom, devolution, the OBR, all of the quangos that essentially hold all of the power in our institutions, and the ministers, who are meant to be accountable to the people for all their policies, are merely reading pre-prepared statements from the permanent secretaries to the Prime Minister and the civil service, and they don't take any accountability, and the Prime Ministers are on a rosary. This is the issue. He doesn't seem too concerned with any of this. He's like, whatever, we'll fudge it. And with him importing all of the Tories into the party, do you have confidence, do you have faith in Reform UK delivering the change that people like me, people who have defected to Restore, and the party faithful, there are a few of them in the grassroots of Reform UK, do you see this guy as your saviour? Do you see this guy as the vehicle for change that many of us want in this United Kingdom? Let me know in the comments. I could be way off base on this. I could be very, very cynical. I could be very, very uncharitable to Mr. Tice. You let me know, do you think I've got it right? Do you think I've got it wrong? All opinions are valid. Let's have a debate.
I think that the UK is we are a Christian nation. We should stand up and be proud of that. And let's see what happens. But
we are a Christian nation. Let's see what happens. If the demographic replacements of the native British people is accurate that it is going to happen by 2063, and the white British become a minority in our own homelands by that point. Will Christianity, Church of England, will that be the Church of England moving forward? We've seen it in multiple countries around the world. When particular demographics become the majority, they cease to be what they were previously. Think of Egypt, think of Afghan, for example. But, as Richard Tice has already conceded, he's not going to be here, so what does it matter to him?
At the end of the day, what we should be focusing on is getting our own people back into work, training up our own people, having, in a sense, Nigel's talked quite recently about families. We need more British-born people. What
is a British-born person? Is it somebody that nipped over from Kabul? We had to think it's Danny Kruger. Recently, he's mentioned that after 5 years, if an Afghani family, an Afghan man and his 5 wives, have 20 kids, they're as much inheritors of this United Kingdom as I am. That seems to be the Reform UK position. Is that the change that you want? Is that the change that the country needs? Mass migration, I'll continue to hammer this home, was never consented to. Nobody asked for it. Nobody wants it. It was forced on us by our politicians, and as soon as they run out of political capital, the policy remains the same and the face changes. That is all.
So we need to be less reliant on immigration, and that's the issue. And on we go. It will be a huge moment, though, in British history. For the first time ever in this nation's more than 1,000 years of proud history, the country will be minority white British. And many that. You're obsessed with this stuff, okay? So many other people, Richard. It's not just me, to be fair. The way you ask the questions, right?
He doesn't like the way the question is asked. He doesn't like the way that it's framed. He's scared that if he concedes that the demographic replacement of the British people in their own homeland is objectionable, then he's not going to be invited to the dinner party. He's going to be ostracised from polite society. The talking heads like Emily Maitlis and Peston, for example, on ITV, won't like him, won't give him the time of day. He's concerned about appearances. He's concerned about the way he comes across to these people. To quote a famous man, I don't care. I care about the country. I care about the people in Cheshire. I care about the people in England. I care about the people in this United Kingdom. That is my priority. Any other consideration should be secondary or a tertiary consideration. This is just my opinion. As always, you can beg to differ.
Matt Goodwin's made a forecast. He may or may not be right. I don't know what his computer model is. I've not seen it. But the sensible discussion to have is, what sort of population do we want to have? Can we make that population more prosperous? Can we have a high quality, highly skilled immigration policy? And yeah, it's like one of these things, it's a bit like what we started on in terms of, do you want to ban the burqa? Let's have a discussion about it.
Non-committal, no conviction. And this is the thing, not only with Reform UK, but with the Lib Dems, with the legacy parties, Labour and Tories. They differ on their opinion dependent on what's expedient at the moment. Let's have a conversation, let's have a discussion, is very, very tepid. I say that in my videos, let's have a debate, let's have a discussion. However, I'm very clear that I've got a specific opinion. You can disagree, but when you look at people like Tice, they are very uninspiring, because not only do they say, let's have a discussion, but they don't actually have an opinion. They don't actually have any convictions, any principles guiding their utterances. We need a new brand of politician. We need a new way of doing things. When the establishment parties and establishment figures like Jacob Rees-Mogg say they reject Restore Britain, I say bring it on. That's great. Music to my ears. I voted Tory in 2019 to get Brexit done, and the Tories decided to take a huge pile of crap and just dump it all over the working classes of Britain, and they gave us the Boris wave when they promised Brexit would mean Brexit. It's not. Northern Ireland is still effectively in the EU, and we've got more mass migration than we ever had under Labour. So I'm going to end these clips here. We do need a new class of politician, and to their credit, Reform UK cynically, insincerely, have fielded a better candidate in the Makerfield by-election, Rob Kenyon. And they don't seem to have thrown him under the bus, and he seems to be a genuinely good candidate. He's a Reform UK councillor, and it should be interesting what transpires. This is cynical from Reform UK. This isn't their intention. Remember, my MP, Sarah Pochin, is not working class. She's not really of the area. She's from posh Cheshire. She's a former Tory. Let's face it, anybody on the right is a former Tory. If the Tories are actually conservative, none of these offshoots, UKIP, Reform, Brexit Party, and now Restore would exist if the Tories actually did what they said on the tin. However, it is cynical from Reform. It's not genuine in my view. Now, Rebecca Shepherd, they've put out a new video for her. I'm going to play the video now because I think it's quite good.
Rebecca, and I'm standing for Restore Britain in the by-election for Makerfield. I've lived in the Wigan area for 22 years, and I've run a small business ever since. I love the people of Wigan, they're amazing, and I get to see them a lot, obviously, in my business, mainly with families coming to my yard for riding lessons and things like that, and I've built a little community of my own, so love the people of Wigan. We talk about politics all the time, me and my friend, and I sat there one day and I thought, if I listen to myself moaning about this country one more time and not do something about it, so that's why I just decided to go for it, because everyone should get on board with politics, I think, because it matters, you know, our lives depend on it. And just to sit at home and, you know, just moan about everything and not actually do anything about it was just not on the radar for me. So that's why I decided to get involved. I know the challenges that everyone faces today in this current climate, and I've decided I want to do something about it now to help in with the local community and bring in the experiences that I've had trying to run a small business in this economy. One of my biggest priorities will be women's safety everywhere, but especially feeling safe to walk around their own towns. I mean, I was trying to get to my local accountant. There was a group of probably 7, I can only assume to be migrants, who were speaking in different languages and made me feel very uncomfortable. I had no choice but to walk through the middle of them, and they were very clearly and obviously saying things about me in a different language, looking at me, laughing. It just doesn't make women feel safe nowadays, because I've experienced it myself, so other women must be feeling the same way. People should vote for Restore Britain if they really want a change and not more of the same. I'm not a career politician, I'm just a normal person who genuinely cares. I want to give 100% of my time to my community, whereas other people, they may want to just do it part-time. I've freed up all of my time for my community. I'll get behind them, and I would be a very regular face around the town of Makerfield. If you're on the fence, then you need to pick Restore, otherwise you're just voting for more of the same or not voting at all, which in this climate would be mad. You need to get on board.
Much better, much better. Now this is quite similar to the one that Reform UK put out for their candidates. I do prefer the music selection for this one. On their one for Reform UK, even though the bare bones of the video is much improved, the music selection took away. This is pitch perfect. This is the better video. Now, you let me know, do you think that the speedrunning emulation that we've seen from Reform UK right down to picking local candidates, right down to now even copying the type of leaflets that Restore Britain has been using in the Makerfield election. Is this desperation, or are they changing the tune because they genuinely mean it? The jury's out. I've delivered my verdict. I think it's cynical. We'll end this here. When the establishment come after Restore Britain and Rupert Lowe and any people in the party like Rebecca Shepherd, I say keep doing it, bring it on. It's fun, it's entertaining to see the dying animal failing and flailing about in a desperate attempt to keep the attention of the disenfranchised voter. Now, when you look at Charlie Downs, I've mentioned Charlie on my channel previously before he was working so directly with Rupert Lowe and Restore. I've always been quite impressed with him, to be honest. When you see him on any debates on the TV, it's like a white shark toying with its prey before he devours. It is quite comical. I almost feel sorry for the people that he debates against usually, because they stand no chance. They really don't. He's been quite strong with these attacks from the establishments, from Restore Britain, and he's put out statements saying that we don't care. Essentially, we're not looking to become part of the establishments. We're not looking to get into bed with what's failed the country for 50 years. We're looking to replace it. Now, that's the mindset, that's the mentality that we need to have. You don't want to become that establishment that's failed Britain for 50 years. When Nigel Farage and the Brexit Party done that and stood down in 2019, what did the Tories do? They gave us the Boris wave. More Afghanis than you can shake a fist at. Our country's never been more insecure, and we've never been more dependent on the global supply chains, and that's deliberately been done. Alright? We need a brand new way of doing politics, and we need brand new faces in Parliament. I would say the majority, 500 plus, of the MPs in Parliament needs to go. Now, I've said a lot on this video. Many of you may disagree. Many of you may think I'm being too... I'm slamming Reform UK too much. Let me be clear, alright? Nothing against the grassroots, nothing against many friends and colleagues that are still with Reform UK. They are good people. We all want the same thing. It's just there's different ideas on how to get there. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.